Hello, my name is Nataliya Popovych. I'm Ukrainian. I'm a founder of One Philosophy, a consultancy group comprised of 5 agencies and over 70 professionals in Kyiv, united by one single purpose: to create reality we want to live in. We've been privileged to care for reputation and support the market success of numerous international companies and organizations in Ukraine and in the region for over 20 years. But our reality has been completely disrupted 33 days ago when Russia decided to launch a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Every day since I woke up to the sounds of explosions in Kyiv, it is heartbreaking to see my homeland turn into the zone of death, suffering, and devastation. To realize to what extent it has shattered my life and those of my family, friends, and colleagues, how it has disrupted our plans for the future of making every day our planet a little bit better. Now we first have to win this war. I have the honor of co-chairing, together with David Gallagher, an initiative called Ukraine Communications Support Network. It's a joint initiative of PRCA and ICCO. It brings together brilliant professionals from all over the world willing to commit their time and resources and contacts worldwide to support Ukraine under attack. Ever since the beginning of the war, only in Mariupol, a city that has been under siege for over a month, 5,000 people died, including 210 children, and 170,000 people remained in the city with little hope for evacuation. Russia is cutting down the supply lines, and in the middle of the country, known as the breadbasket of Europe, people are resorting to starve. Russian army has been deliberately shelling and striking at hospitals, maternity wards, orphanages, theaters, shooting civilians during pre-agreed evacuations, targeting women and pregnant women with multiple accounts of raping and shooting. Almost 4 million Ukrainian women and children fled to the safety from the horror of this war to the neighboring countries, but close to 40,000 people were forced to evacuate to Russia. It's a humanitarian catastrophe of the proportions not seen in the heart of Europe since World War II. Families, hopes, future of millions of people are disrupted as we speak. At the same time, the last month saw so many examples of the incredible resilience of the Ukrainian people, our armed forces, territorial defense, doctors and nurses, teachers and volunteers who risk their lives and counter the brutality of the Russian army. People stop tanks with their bare hands. People in occupied cities come out to squares singing Ukrainian anthem. Sportsmen flee the country from an occupied Kharkiv to participate in the World Skating Championship and ensure top-level performance. Ukrainians are incredibly brave and motivated to defend our right to exist, which Russia denies, and to defend our free and democratic way of living. Well, some people, not only in Ukraine, but all over the world, decide to take up arms and defend freedom and the future of humankind today in Ukraine. The number of foreigners among the Ukrainian armed forces is growing every day. Those are principled people who simply cannot stand and watch how a bully terrorist state like Russia is brutally assaulting a free and sovereign neighboring nation. At the same time, there is information front, where people in Ukraine need our support. People within the country need to have their spirits up and raised every single day for the next day of the battle against the evil. People who are fleeing, they need our support in communicating about the options they have and receiving friendly welcome among the nations who've been so open and so hospitable to all Ukrainians in need. And Ukrainians can stay resilient against the Russian army, defending freedom for both ourselves and others only if other nations pitch in to help arm Ukraine and dramatically increase the cost of this brutal war on Russia. All these initiatives need effective communications during the war. I'll tell you about one of the projects that we launched. In the first weeks of the war, in between the evacuation, looking for missing colleagues, bomb shelters, and crossing of multiple borders, the team of One Philosophy, together with AMPAT IT company and volunteers, created a resource we called weareukraine.info. It's first and foremost a repository of easy-to-share English language verified facts on Russia-Ukraine war, examples of resilience of the Ukrainian nation and the world supporting Ukraine. It is also a communications and advocacy platform where numerous calls to action are coming live every day and supported by thousands of people in numerous countries. One of the calls to action at weareukraine.info is a project called Ukraine Street, where just today, people of 34 countries in Europe, North America, Australia, and New Zealand are being urged to sign a petition to rename streets which house the Russian embassies and consulates in their cities to Ukraine streets. This would be a very symbolic act of support to the Ukrainian people, defending their independence in the war started by Russia. It's an asymmetric communication, an asymmetric solution, and when the streets will be renamed, they will serve as a daily reminder to the Russian diplomats and nationals that Ukraine is a sovereign state which will prevail and which will always exist, no matter how hard Russia tries to deny our right. On We Are Ukraine, there are also other calls to action and projects, such as the initiative to appeal to all financial and CSR and ESG ranking agencies to downgrade the rankings of international businesses still operating in Russia. Hundreds of companies compelled to act on high moral grounds have already exited and divested from the Russian market. But some, such as Leroy Merlin or Auchan, continue their presence. There are boycotts against these brands globally right now, and soon they will have to leave, but already at a significant cost to the reputation of their business. Ukraine now has numerous briefs for the most challenging and daunting tasks against the Russian propaganda and war machine. So I would like to thank all of the public relations industry globally and all agencies that have already committed their time and resources to support us pro bono, and urge others to reach out to us and help us with the variety of projects for Ukraine and for the suffering people of Ukraine that are currently in the works. I personally have always believed that public relations is the consciousness of any organization. And now PR industry as a whole has a chance to really walk the talk and support the very freedom and democracy that make this professional possible. Dictators don't need PR, they have propaganda. Ukraine is a free, democratic state fighting not only for its existence, but also for freedom and dignity and democracy in the entire world. It is really worthy of your support and efforts. I look forward to your submissions and connecting with you soon. Thank you.